I'll blame it on bad luck. Blame it on the weather. I'll blame it on bad luck. Blame it on the weather. I'll blame it on bad luck. Blame it on the weather. I'll blame it on bad luck. Blame it on the weather.
I feel like I'm being dragged down, forced to be a slave to my emotions, caught in the middle of a bad wind. I'm left with shackles upon my soul. So take notice, I am the only one, the writer of my screenplay, the one to decide where I walk. No co-author who might betray. So take notice, I am the only one, master of my destiny, keeper of faith, cover of fate, ready for life's race, trying to find a painless way to climb out of this bottomless abyss. Want to stop dancing with the devil, change the ending to this crazy story. So take notice, I am the only one, the writer of my screenplay, the one to decide
I was coming over, just wanted to hold you. You know I'm a loner, but I got you in my corner. I'm tearing off your clothes the moment I'm in your house. Yeah. I'm ready, I'm shaking, I'm horny, I'm fired up. I'm sinking in deep so you realize.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning to you, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new to the channel, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Danny, and I am so not an expert. It is so great to be back here today. Thank you so much for joining me. So now, I know that the description and the thumbnail says that we're going to be working on our mix and match project, but it turns out when I pulled out the container to get things going, I realized that we have some pieces that we need to cut that are just a little bit too big for my cutting station here. So I'm going to have to do those offline. So I had to come up with another quick project real fast. But that's okay, because I have some projects that I need to work on for some things here at work. And so what I'm going to be doing today is I'm actually going to be making some placemats, which are super quick and easy to make. And I'm going to be using up a bunch of my fat quarters that I have laying around here in my studio. So I'm really excited for that. I've just started pressing some of the fat quarters up because I want to make sure they're nice and flat first. So if you guys have some extra fat quarters or some extra fabric, go ahead, go grab 2 pieces of that or even 1 piece of that. Set your machine up and let's get started with making some placemats today. So it's going to be really exciting. Before that, I want to say good morning to all of our new subscribers. Hello, good morning. I hope that you guys are all well. You guys may have noticed if you're in chat that we have someone that's back again this week that I'm really excited to see him again. So we'll say hi to him in just a minute. Also, if you haven't already, please consider donating to Vicky's GoFundMe page. I did put a link in our Facebook group. So if you are able, please consider donating. She needs our help. Hopefully things will get better for her and her family here soon. All right, so let me hop into chat really fast. Say hello to everybody that's been in there since this morning, and then we're gonna get started on this quick and easy, fun little project. Yes, Chloe, poor Vicky. Absolutely, poor Vicky. So I know that the very first person in chat today was someone that we were all missing last week. So please allow me to introduce him. Lucas is in the house. Good morning, Lucas. It is so great to see you again. We missed you last week. We hope that your travels went well last week. Good morning, Nancy. It's so great to see you again. Katie, good morning. I saw, when I was watching the replay last week, I saw you had popped into chat and I never said hello to you because I missed your message, and I'm so sorry for that. So good morning to you. I hate it when I miss our subscribers when they pop into chat and I don't get to see them. So if I don't say hello to you guys, I need you to do me a favor and tag me in chat and let me know you're there so that I can say hello to you, because I love to know everybody that's in our chat that's welcoming us. So good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us last week and for this week, Katie. It's great to see you. Gazala, good morning. It's so good to see you again. I'm happy that you were able to join us again. Thank you so much for that. Good morning to you. Kathy, good morning. Hi, hon. How are you? I hope all things are well. Kelly, it's so good to see you. We can't wait to hear what your next adventures are coming up with. Dawn, hello. Good morning. Hello, hello. It's so good to see you. I hope things are well with you as well. And Chloe, I think I said good morning to you already, but if I haven't, again, good morning. So good morning, good morning. If I've missed anybody, please say hello and chat. I can't wait to see you guys there. Yes, Kathy, I understand. Yeah, Vicky's not getting better. She doesn't have much longer. Yeah, I know, that's very sad to hear. But you know, I hope that she will be at peace, and I hope that her and her family are getting through things. So. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. It's going to be a quick and easy project. I've got 8 fat quarters here because I'm going to be making 4 different placemats. Mine are going to be double-sided, so I used a different fat quarter for each side. If you guys have fat quarters, you can do the same thing, 2 for each one. Or if you have a half a yard of fabric, you can just fold it in half and use a half yard of fabric if you have that as well. So I've gone ahead and I've started starching these up, and I'm just going to go ahead and iron them up real quickly. It shouldn't take me too long to do that. I'm not going to be too crazy about it because we're going to be ironing these a bunch of times as we're putting them together to make sure that they lay nice and flat. The great thing about a placemat is you don't need any anything on the inside. You don't need any my gosh, what is the cotton stuff on the inside? My brain has gone to a complete crap this morning. I'm telling you, it just does not want to work this morning at all. I had such a hard time making my breakfast this morning because I make the same breakfast every Sunday morning, every Saturday, every Sunday morning. I make the exact same breakfast, and for some reason this morning my brain just decided it did not want to work. I know I didn't get very much sleep on Friday night, so I'm thinking that maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe I'm a little sleepy still. I'm not sure. All I know is my brain is just not functioning correctly today for whatever reason. All right, so here's the first one. I love this fabric. This is one of the ones that came in our Christmas bundle from our countdown. It is so pretty. I've got a red one here, and then I'm going to have a blue one as well. That's the exact same print, just a different color. I think it's so cool. I absolutely love it. So cool. So that's going to be the front and the back of this particular placemat. Kelly wants to know if I saw that Laura Lynn was on yesterday on the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. I missed her, but I did hear that she has been back. I've seen her pop in a couple times in the last couple of weeks, so I'm really glad to see that she is back. It's good to hear that she is doing better. Hopefully they'll be able to, they're helping her out as well. So that was really great to see. I unfortunately have not had a whole lot of spare time to catch up on a lot of our subscriber, our I'm telling you, my brain is fried today. Our YouTube creator friends. I've missed quite a few of them. I can't tell you the last time I saw one of Sean's videos. I feel just absolutely awful about it. I need to like set some time aside and just catch up on all of our creator friends channels. I just haven't gotten there yet. So I do apologize for that. So if I've missed something, I'm sorry. I have a different setup here today. I'm using my you guys can see it here in my Chromebook here for comments today so that I can kind of face this way as I'm talking to you guys. But the problem is my iron is kind of in the way. So I'm kind of doing one of these at least for a few minutes here until we can move the iron out of the way. So how are things with you guys? What are you guys working on? You know, I love it when you guys post pictures on our Facebook group, on our Instagram pages of what you guys are working on. I'd love to see that stuff. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me moving forward with my own projects. I'm really sorry that we can't work on the mix and match project today. That kind of is a bummer. I should have made those cuts before and I didn't. So I'm going to try to do that today so that we're caught up for the next time we work on it. Unfortunately, though, in my little space here, sometimes I run out of room with some things, so I have to be careful. Uh-oh. Oh. Looks like some people have already gotten in on those slot machine games. That's a great way to earn those thimbles. Quick and easy way to do it. There's also the heist game if you are interested. There we go. Chloe says, Dawn, your video was great. Oh, did I miss a video from Dawn? Oh, I feel bad. I'm terrible about that. I'm so sorry. Well, if you guys haven't already, make sure you go over and follow Dawn so you can check out her channel. If you do !Dawn in chat, it'll give you a link to her channel. She also has a blog as well. I think that the link actually gives you her YouTube and her blog as well. So make sure you check that out. Kathy does live streams almost every week. So if you haven't already subscribed to her, make sure you head over there and subscribe to her as well. That's !Kathy in chat. If you're interested in any of our creator friends, you can do !Creators in chat. It'll give you links. It'll give you notices of all of the links to all of our creators. So you can go follow any of them. I love all my creator friends so much. I wish that I had more time to keep up with them all. Unfortunately, I have not as of yet, but I really need to make the time. Katie says she's trying to figure out what layout to use for her new cellulites. That is always a struggle, isn't it, Katie, when you're trying to finish up a project and you just can't figure out which way you want to lay the fabric out, or the pieces out. I get that. I love making the blocks. The blocks is obviously the most challenging part of any project. But then sometimes it's trying to lay them out can be really difficult. Do you have a... God, my brain is just completely fried today. Do you have a vision board or a board that you're working with, or do you lay them out on the floor, or maybe on a bed? Sometimes I lay them right out on our queen size bed so that I can figure out how they'll look. Good morning, Linda. It's so great to see you again. Hi, how are you? So good to see you. Hi, Brenda. I saw you sneak in there too. Hi, Brenda. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning to you. I hope your guys' weather is better by you than it is by me. The last 4 or 5 days have been absolutely gorgeous. It has been in the 70s and 80s. The sun's been shining. It's been absolutely beautiful. And now today they're talking about snow. Yesterday we had some pop-up rain showers that came in with a little bit of thunder, and today they're talking about snow. Nothing accumulating, obviously, because it's still a little too warm for that. But you know, this is your Chicago weather. I mean, of course, I am up here in northern Illinois. I am a southwest suburb of Chicago, and you know, that's just kind of how the weather goes here. You know, one minute it's beautiful, the next minute it's snowing. So I hope the weather is better by you guys. Good morning, Naomi. Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Sunday morning to you. So good to see you. I hope you are well. We are not working on our mix and match project, as unfortunately I mentioned earlier. It turns out the pieces that we're going to need for that project are just a little bit too big for me to be able to cut here on my sewing station, so I'm going to have to cut those offline. I'm going to have to pull out my big mat, put that on my kitchen counter, and cut those offline. So I had to do a last minute switch up of projects, and so we're going to be making some double-sided placemats as a decoration for my office, for my company office. I've picked out a bunch of fat quarters. I picked out 8 fat quarters for my stash because I'm going to be making 4 different ones. That way I can flip them over based on the different seasons or depending on how I'm feeling or whatever. It's a quick and easy way to add a little bit of a pop of color and a little bit of texture to any small space that you have. These are great like underneath a vase or underneath a candy dish. We actually have a little end table that we put between 2 chairs. So we put that there with a little candy dish and some flowers. It's a perfect, quick, and easy way to add a little bit of a pop of color to any small space. So if you guys have some extra fat quarters laying around that you're just not sure what to do with, or maybe they're beautiful fat quarters and you can't bring yourself to cut them up into little pieces to make something else with them, this is a great way to still utilize those beautiful, beautiful fabrics and display them in a perfect fashion. So that's what we are going to be doing today. Right now, I'm ironing them all up, getting them all nice and flat so that they'll sew up a little bit nicer. This step is not a necessary step, especially for this project that we're working on, because we are going to iron this up a few times. But I like to have everything nice and starched and flat and ready to go. Just checking in chat, make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Again, if you guys have said hello to me in chat and I did not, respond to you within the first, 10 or 15 minutes, please tag me and let me know you're there. I hate it when I miss people in chat because I feel like I'm losing you guys there, and I want to make sure that we're all talking about things. Yes, Kelly says she makes placemats or perhaps really large mug mat rugs to use on various surfaces in her house. Absolutely, yeah. A mug rug is another great way. I like the placemats because they're a little bit bigger, but the mug rugs work really well also. They are another great way to add just that little bitty pop of color to any surface or place. And you can even hang them on a wall if you want to, or sew them up together, or do whatever you want to do with them. Batting, that was the name of the thing I was telling about. For this particular project, we do not need any batting for this because it's just going to be 2 pieces of fabric. There's nothing in between. Keeps it nice and thin and flexible. You could absolutely put batting in between if you wanted to. Make it a little bit thicker, a little bit stiffer. You could even do some quilting with it if you wanted to. I am not going to do that. I'm just going to be sewing around the edges of mine. I'm not going to do any type of special quilting or fancy quilting with it. Chloe says, Danny, I have to finish Clue 3 of the Village Green. I was on Sean's live yesterday. I missed it. I'm telling you, I have not, unfortunately, seen or talked to Sean in forever. It seems like I'm a terrible friend. I really need to get in touch with him, say hello, see how things are going. I know he is doing Village Green. I am not doing Village Green. But I have enjoyed very much everybody who's been posting pictures on our Facebook groups or the Cuts Facebook groups. I've loved seeing all of those and how they're coming together. So they're really, really pretty. I hope you guys are having a great time with that. We have received clue 9, I think, of our Cotton Cuts Piazza puzzle mystery quilt. I'll probably be doing that one next week on our live stream. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But yeah, I'm really glad that you guys are working on Village Green. It looks really cool. I can't wait to see how that one turns out. I did not join Village Green. I've had a lot going on, and I just was not able to start on that one. I love this fabric. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but it's like this, a light pink, a dark pink, and an orange. These are almost all of these are batik fabrics. I love batik fabrics. They're one of my favorites. And I just absolutely love these. There we go. Hi Terry, good morning. It's so good to see you. Hello. Thanks for stopping in today. Happy Sunday morning to you. I hope you and your family are well. Yes, Chloe. Yep. Chloe says, no worries, Danny. Life and full-time obviously gets in the way. Yeah, absolutely. And I've mentioned it before, but I'm having some struggles with just staying motivated lately. I think it's just kind of a bit of the weather, a bit of some, mental health struggles that I'm working through. Nothing crazy, nothing too serious, but I'm working through those. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. For those of you just popping into chat, I did have to make a last-minute change to the project that we were going to be working on today. We were supposed to be working on our mix and match project, but unfortunately, the pieces that the next step are some rather large pieces that we need to be working with that are unfortunately just too big for me to cut on my small cutting station here. So I'm going to have to take those offline and pull out my really big cutting mat and cut those on my kitchen counter. Offline. I guess I could have brought you guys into my kitchen with me, but that seems like a lot of work. So I will do those offline, and then the next time we come back for this project, we'll have all those pieces cut up and ready to go. So I'm sorry for that. So instead, we're going to be making some placemats instead. I took some fat quarters out of my stash. These are all really, really pretty fat quarters that I'm just, either the print is too big for me to cut up into little pieces to make as part of a quilt, or I really just want to display the entire piece as much as I can. So that is why I have selected these. I'm going to be making 4 placemats. Each of them is going to be double-sided, so then that way we can pick and choose which side we'd like to work with, which side we'd like to display. Good morning, Patty. How are you? Happy Sunday morning to you. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. We hope you are well. We hope the weather by you is beautiful. I was mentioning a little bit earlier that today is going to be a cold and snowy day up here in northern Illinois. We've had beautiful weather the last couple of weeks, or last few days, and now all of a sudden today it's just the bottom is supposed to drop out, as they say. My husband and I were able to get some things done out in the yard yesterday, a few things. He actually had to cut the grass yesterday, which is, always a struggle. Patty says, I'm tired already. I went grocery shopping and to the laundromat. Wow, girl, you are productive this morning. I couldn't get my butt out of bed this morning. It took me forever to get up. Terry says, what? Snow still? We had summer for a few days, up in the 90s, cooled down again. Yeah, Terry, we had 70s and 80s all week long. It was absolutely gorgeous all week. It was just beautiful. And then, yeah, now today they're talking about snow. Nothing really accumulating. It's probably just going to be some snow flurries. That's usually what happens this time of the year. I mean, every once in a while we'll get some accumulating snow here in March and April. Nothing too crazy usually. But yeah, that's what they're talking. They're talking about snow today. So the temperatures will get down a little bit. It's been kind of raining on and off the last few days. We get like a little spit of rain and then it'll go away. My husband actually got caught in rain yesterday. When he was cutting the grass, he said he had like 2 feet left to cut, and then the heavens just opened up and downpoured on him. So unfortunately, he got a little bit wet yesterday. But that's all right. All right, 2 more to go, and then we can start putting these all together. Now, as I've been pressing these, I have noticed that a couple of these are not cut super straight, and that's all right. We're not going to worry too much about it because we're going to give ourselves a pretty chunky seam allowance for these. I don't usually do the 1/4 inch seam allowance for something like this. I usually do a much bigger seam allowance. I don't necessarily know why, I just do. Usually because that way it's less cutting for me. I don't have to worry about evening it up. Now, if you have your own fat quarters and you want to make sure that they're cut nice and straight to help you out, you can absolutely do that if you want. That's completely up to you. I'm not going to bother. Patty says, I'm bummed today. I finished my swap and generally show Vicky a picture of the homemade item I made. She really enjoyed seeing them. Oh, Patty, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you know what? You can still share it with the rest of us on our Facebook group if you'd like to. You can head over to our Facebook group and share it there. We would love to see it. If you're not already a member, you can do !FB for Facebook and chat. I'll give you a link. If you prefer not to follow Facebook and you want to do Instagram instead, we also have an Instagram page as well. You can do !links, LINKS, and it'll give you both our Facebook and our Instagram links. Yeah, it is unfortunate to hear about our friend Vicky. And again, if you are able, we did post a link to her GoFundMe page to help with expenses for her and her family. If you are able, please head over there and donate if you can. Every dollar helps. Patty says she can't share on Facebook until after her swap partner receives it. So, well, understandable. Absolutely understandable, Patty. We get that. Especially if your swap partner is part of our group. Absolutely. All right, last piece. Yes, Terry, absolutely. And she says, if you can't donate, please share and pray for her and her family. Absolutely. Absolutely. It all helps out. Oh, gosh, it looks like some people are losing some thimbles pretty badly there. I'm sorry to hear that. Be careful with those. The slots is a really easy, quick and easy way to earn those thimbles, but it's also a really quick and easy way to lose them as well. So be careful. Lucas is back in the house today. We missed him so much last week. He was doing some traveling, spending some time with his family. I'd mentioned last week he was home for Easter. Him and Tony both were. I got to see her for a little while before she spent the rest of the weekend with Lucas and his family, which is fine. Tony actually will be coming home again next weekend, I think she said. So start bringing her stuff home already. Can you believe that? It's so hard to believe that her school year is almost over. So her finals are the first week in May, which is just crazy to me. It's so early. But yeah, so she'll be home again next weekend. Maybe if she has a chance, maybe I'll ask her to pop in on Sunday morning to say hello to everybody. We'll see how that goes. But she's going to be bringing some stuff home. She's only got like a couple more weeks left of school, which is just crazy. Lucas graduates this year. He'll be graduating, gosh, Lucas, what is it, like 3 weeks until graduation? 3-4 weeks till graduation? It's gotta be coming up here soon. So he graduates soon. He's gonna be off to bigger and better things. He has not figured out exactly where his next move is just yet. He's flying at a bunch of places and just kind of waiting to hear from any of them. So we're hoping and praying that he gets to do what he loves doing. I'm sure wherever he ends up, he will be successful. He is a super smart kid. Lucas says, yeah, don't remind me. Yes, Nancy, slots are tough today. Yeah, they're not being very nice to people today. All right, so that's all those pieces. So I'm going to move this over here, so it's kind of out of the way a little bit. All right, we don't need this anymore, so let me put that away. With these small sewing spaces, you really got to kind of move everything around to make sure you have enough room to get things done. I'm going to actually move this down here. So I have 8 pieces of fabric that we're going to be sewing up. We're going to be making 4 placemats today. They're going to be super simple and easy. When you guys see how quick and easy these are to make, you're just going to laugh because they're just super simple. I'm going to use basically this full size piece of of the fat quarter. I'm telling you guys, my brain is just completely shut off today. I have no idea what is happening to me, but I cannot find words to talk today at all. I'm telling you. Oh. So I hope you all are having a little bit of giggles with me today for the amount of just completely brain dead stuff I'm doing today. All right, so I'm going to be using these entire fat quarters. You don't have to use an entire fat quarter. You can use half. So if you were to use half of it, you would just fold it in half, and that's how big your piece would. Or, you know, if you want to make it even smaller, you can use quarters, and you can make 4 of them. I'm going to use the full size because then that way it takes up the entire length of our tables. I like to have a nice big piece, so then that way I can fold it if I need to make it smaller, or I can keep it big if I need to. That's also why I don't put batting in between mine, so then that way I can fold them up if I need to make them a little bit smaller. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put right sides together. I'm going to take my 2 pieces, and I'm going to put right sides together. And I'm not going to stress too much about the pieces not lining up perfectly. I'm really just going to kind of focus on one corner or one side and try and line that up as best I can. And then the rest of it can just kind of come together later. Now with batik fabrics, there is a right and a wrong side, but sometimes it can be really challenging to figure it out. So usually what I do is I just kind of look and decide which side I like better. So I kind of like this side better. Now if there's a metallic on your batik fabrics, that makes it easy to figure out which side's the right side, because obviously the metallic is the right side. But this one doesn't have any, so we're just gonna kind of eyeball it. That is about as good as we are going to get it. So I'm going to start with this corner up here under my machine. Now usually I don't start in a corner. I usually start kind of in the middle of a side and work my way around. So I'm just going to match up that corner there and this side, and I'm just going to kind of start somewhere in the middle. I'm going to give myself about a 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch of seam allowance. Give myself a little bit of extra wiggle room to work with there. Oh, Terry, thank you. It's not really a pattern. I'm just kind of putting some stuff together here. Just making some placemats for decorations here for my office at work. All right. So now I'm going to start here in the middle. It's about 2/3 of the way through the middle. I'm going to go ahead and make a back stitch here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go almost all the way around, not completely all the way around. I'm going to leave enough room for my hand to be able to get in there to pull it out. And I'll show you guys how to do the pull through method here in just a minute. So let me grab that, anchor that with a couple of back stitches real quick, and then we're just going to make our way all the way around. Turn this up just a pinch. Now, you want to be careful because remember your pieces may not line up exactly right. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball them down here to make sure that they're lining up as best I can. When I get to the edge, I'm going to leave myself about that 1/2 inch of space there. I like to do a couple of back stitches just to kind of anchor my corners. I'm going to leave my needle down, lift up my presser foot, and spin the whole thing around. Let's see. Make everything nice and flat. Trying to feel where that edge is so that I don't go over it. Now we're going to trim up all these edges when we're done, okay? So I don't want you to worry too much about it. Now if you have a very specific size you need, then you're probably going to want to trim your fabric so that you know exactly where you need it. I'm not really worried about the size of mine. I know that this will be plenty big enough for what I need. So I'm not really stressing about it too much. Over again. Go. If you're looking to create something that's kind of stress-free, that doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to, you know, even really look all that fantastic, and you're just kind of looking to complete something, you know, get something under your belt, make yourself feel a little accomplished, this is an excellent project to do that. Mug rugs are another great one to do that with, and they're also a great one to kind of practice your skills with as well. Especially your quilting skills, your free motion quilting skills if you prefer. Good morning, Gladys. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've ever seen you pop into chat before. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad to see you here. Happy Sunday morning to you. We hope you are well. I know that the thumbnail says we're working on our mix and match project, but it turns out that I actually have some pretty big pieces I'm going to need to be cutting up for that project. And my sewing space here is just not big enough to do that with. So I had to make a last minute change to our programming. And we are making some placemats. Some oversized placemats that we're going to be using as decoration in my office. So we've went ahead and we've ironed up a bunch of fat quarters that I had from my stash. And we're just sewing them up double-sided. Alright, so now I'm back to my original side here. And I want to make sure that I keep it enough space for my hand to get through. So usually what I do is I spread my fingers out and I use my thumb and my pinky to make sure that I have enough space. Now obviously I can close my hand up a little bit, make it a little bit smaller if I need to, but I like to give myself plenty of room. So I'm going to put my thumb on our starting stitch, spread my hand out, and eyeball about where I need to stop. And I'm just going to use my finger to mark this place. If you wanted to use a pin, you could do that as well. You can really use anything you wanted. I'm just going to use my fingers. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. That is the beauty of this particular project, is nothing about it actually needs to be perfect. Alright, and I'm going to backspace to anchor those stitches so that they don't come out, because we are going to be kind of yanking on them a little bit. Alright. Alright, so there's our first one. I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside, and we're going to do all the trimming at the same time. So I'm just going to set that one aside and move on to the next one. Lucas says he may have hid the crossbones from the slots. Now, for those of you not familiar, all that means is that now you have a better chance of winning. Because the crossbones is actually what causes you to lose. So if Lucas may have pulled them out, that's usually an indication that now is a great time to be playing that game, because you're more likely to win. Ohio quilter and textile artist. Good morning. Hello, how are you? I'm so happy to see you here today. Marie, hi, how are you? Happy Sunday morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is so good to see you. If you have popped into chat recently and I have not said hello to you, please tag me so I can. I like to know all of our new subscribers and new people that are joining us. All right, again, I'm about 2/3 of the way down. I don't like to start right at a corner. I prefer to start kind of in the middle. Give a couple stitches, a couple back stitches. And then we get started. I like to backstitch in the corners just to kind of anchor those stitches a little bit more. That's just me. It's not something that's required. Yes, one of our subscribers, Chloe, was on a live stream with Sean yesterday. It's so exciting. I did not, unfortunately, get a chance to check it out, although I probably will try to catch the replay later today. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you head over to Sean's channel and check her out. Sounds like they had a great time. You can do !Sean, S-E-A-N, in chat, and it'll give you a link to his channel. Go check him out. He is one of my creator friends, and unfortunately, I have not had a whole lot of time to chat with him. I need to catch up with him. See how he's doing, see how things are going over there on his channel. I know he's working on Village Green, and he's got that Wizard of Oz project he was working on. So make sure you go check them out. Now with these fat quarters, I did not trim them. I'm just kind of letting them lay wherever they're laying, and some of them are not cut perfect. So I'm trying to sew them as straight as I can. Anchor those corners. I have the hiccups again. And then spin it around. Alright. So what is everybody working on? I haven't heard anybody really mention any projects that they're working on. Are they having the same struggle that I am with keeping up with trying to stay motivated with new projects? Enjoying the nice weather outside? Alright, I'm back to my beginning. I'm keeping that big handful there open for myself. Terry said she's going to keep working on the Cheetah FPP pattern. She is hooked. FPP patterns are a lot of fun, but they are very time consuming. They take forever. One of these days I will work on one of the larger ones because they're absolutely gorgeous. One day. When I finish all the other projects I'm working on, you know how that goes, right? In fact, I have a project I need to get back to here really soon. When I pull out the big mat to cut up the fabric we're going to need for our mix and match, I'm also going to be cutting up some pieces for another project that I kind of started last year and then put on hold for a little while, but I need to get back to it. I need to get back to it. Okay, so this one is kind of all over the place with regards to how it's laid out. So we're just going to have to be real careful with it. I'm just using black thread. You can use, I mean, obviously whatever thread you want for this. I'm using black. I'm not too concerned about it. I thought about flipping back and forth between the black and the white depending on the fabric, and these are placemats. They're not that critical with regards to the color of the thread. I might use the white thread when we do the edges around the outside just so they don't show up as much. I might do that, but for piecing it together, I'm not going to worry about it. You can use whatever neutral colored thread you prefer. Marie says she's at a standstill with quilting. She's been cross-stitching, trying to get some of those done. Yeah, Marie, I can understand that. Dawn says she's not having any trouble with motivation. She's having trouble with time. Yeah, yeah. That can be a struggle as well. I understand that. I can understand that. We're actually going to be starting on a new project here on this channel because we're getting ready. We're getting to a point where we're going to start finishing up these two here. So we're going to be introducing a new project to the channel. It's going to be a Independence Day inspired project. Hopefully we'll have it done by 4th of July. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as some of these. It is a wall. I think it's a wall hanging. It was an old Liberty box from Fat Quarter Shop a few years ago. I had bought all the fabric pieces that we needed for it, and I just never started the project. So we're going to be starting on that here in a few weeks. I don't know exactly when yet, but probably in the next couple of weeks. And I think I mentioned it already, but I'm really not, like I said, I'm not worried about the size of my seam allowance here. The size of these placemats is really not critical to me. I'm using them as decor pieces, not as even like setting a table. So I'm really not worried about it. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it as best I can. I'm going to trim up the whole thing when we're done so that it lays a little bit nicer. Dawn says, Danny, I fixed 2 boo-boos this week. I burned a block and snail juice removal. Ooh, yuck. Snail juice. What is snail juice? Looks like people are still losing on those slot machines. The slots are just they're not cooperating today. You know what? I think the bot might need a hug, people. I think that might be the problem. I think it just needs a hug. It might just need a big old hug. I love this fabric. Oh my god, it is so pretty. I'm so glad I decided to use it for this instead of trying to cut it up and use it into little pieces because I love it. It is so pretty. Dawn says, Danny, a slug came under the front door and crawled up my design wall, leaving a slime trail on my blocks. Oh my god. Oh my god, Dawn. Oh my god. I would have moved. Oh my goodness. That is terrible. I am so sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry that I'm laughing about it because it sounds really funny. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, this is so gross. So gross. Yes, Lucas, I know. Yeah, it's just not. Slots are not paying out today. And, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. This red one is just terrible. All right. I know, right? Jesus, everyone I've told has laughed. I mean, I know it's not funny, but it kind of is too. Oh gosh, that's so gross. I'm so sorry. I totally would have moved. I totally would have moved out of the house because that would have creeped me out. I have enough of a hard time with spiders. I don't think I could handle slugs. Slugs, snakes, I couldn't handle any of that. Nope. Nope, I am not a creepy crawly kind of person. Nope. Well, hopefully you got the slime trail out of all of your fabric. I imagine that had to have been difficult to do. How do you even manage that? Alright. You're giving me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. I am so sorry. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. Oof. Alright. Slug. Oh my god. Ooh. I'm sorry. They're heebie-jeebies. Has anybody else had any close encounters? Oh, well, that's Donna. I never would even thought to do that, but that's a great idea. She said she was able to remove all the slime. She said she took a can of air and froze it on the blocks. And she said, and let me tell you, there is nothing on the internet to do that. Well, yeah, no, I imagine there wouldn't be, no. But I'm glad that you were able to figure it out. I never would have even thought to do something like that. I would have just panicked. Oh my God. Wow. Well, I'm glad it turned out okay. If I tried, I could not have made this up. No, dog, those are one of those stories that you really just, you can't make it up. No, it's too funny. They can be about 4 inches long down here. Oh, ooh. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Naomi says, learn something new every day. Yes, yes. How to remove slug slime from your fabrics. You know, you just never know what we're going to talk about on this channel. I gotta tell you. We have some really interesting conversations. Oh my goodness. But I am glad to hear it worked out. Alright, so I've got all 4 of them sewn up. So now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim around the edges just to kind of make those seam allowances a little bit smaller, because on some of them they're pretty chunky. And that's just because of the way the fabric laid out. So my goal is to have at least a 1/2 inch of fabric there. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim up a little bit. Give myself that 1/2 inch if I can. Kind of sneak in here. Again, it does not have to be perfect. It will lay a little bit flatter if it's not quite so chunky. You could use your rotary cutter here if you wanted to. I'm just gonna use a pair of scissors. I'm not too concerned about it. So this one worked out pretty well. Let's see what this one looks like. This one worked out pretty well too. It's a little chunky up here, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim this part up over here a little bit. There we go. Now, if I had trimmed these fat quarters and made sure they were all the exact same size, I wouldn't have to do this now, but honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. And I'm not trimming a lot. I'm just trying to make sure that they're kind of even a little bit so they lay nice. All right, let's see what this one looks like. We're going to have to trim up the corners, which is something I forgot to do, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. Show you guys how to do that real quick. Super easy. Just going to take the corner and you're going to clip it on an angle as close to but not on the stitching line as you can. That's just going to help you pull those pieces through later. That's also why I anchor my corners, because when I trim them up a little bit, it gives it a little bit more stability in those corners to make sure that things don't fall apart on me. Flip this over. Trim this piece here. Nothing too crazy. I'm really not super worried about it. I just don't like one of the pieces to be too much bigger than the other one, otherwise I don't feel like it lays the way I like it to. But this is not even a necessary step. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Danny, are you making those yourself or a gift? Marie asks. I am making these for decoration pieces for my corporate office. So I mean, I guess they're kind of for me, but they're kind of not. I'm going to be the one enjoying them because they're going to be in my office, but in my office space. But they're more for my company than for me. They're not for my home, that's for sure. All right. Trim up this last corner here. I forgot to trim the corners on the other two, so let me pull those back out real quick. Again, I'm not really stressing about it. I'm just kind of... These are going to come together pretty quick and easy. It's one of the things I love about this particular project is they come together really, really fast. They come together super quick. Marie says, I'm sure everyone will appreciate that. Well, I hope so, but for me, it's more... See, my office is very gray. The color palette that they have chosen is a dark gray, is a light gray with, you know, some accent colors, but it's pretty gray. I'm not a fan of gray colors. So I am opting to add pops of color with decoration pieces. Well, myself and my coworker, I shouldn't say I. She does better at this than I do. But we're opting to add some pops of color to our office space in small, subtle ways, like with these small decorative pieces. I have made some pieces for her before, some larger placemats before, to put on some shelving units. That worked out really, really well. It really gives this space a little bit of a color, pop of color. The ones that I picked were more of a tweed colored fabric, so they were kind of very neutral. But up against that gray, the gray cabinets, they look really nice. But she had asked me if I could, and I made her some for, I made some for St. Patrick's Day with some green fabric. And they turned out to be really nice because they were a nice pop of color back there. And so she asked me if I could make some more in different colors for different things. So that's why I've opted to grab all of these pretty colors. Yes, Marie, that is the goal, is to kind of perk up the space a little bit. Absolutely. Kind of just give it a little bit of something extra. She does my coworker does an amazing job with decorations. She brings in a bunch of her own personal decor to kind of brighten up the space. Right now she's got it decorated in bumblebee gnomes, which is just so cool. She does a fantastic job with it. She does an amazing job with spring and winter, and just she's just fantastic about decorating. So just trimming these edges up here just so that they kind of match up a little bit. Not really stressing about it too much. It's a very relaxing project, this one is. And like I said, it's a super quick and easy way to use up some of those fat quarters that you've got laying around, or even fat eighths if you have some of those, or half yard pieces. It's a great way to use them up, and a great way to add a little bit of life into your space. People have mentioned mug rugs. You can use these for mug rugs if you'd like. You can use them for placemats like I'm doing. You can use it for just about anything. I'm just using a traditional pull-through method. I've shown it on the channel before. I think I might have even done a video on it once before. Just using the traditional pull-through method. Nothing fancy. There's no batting in between the layers. I want to keep these nice and thin and kind of flexible so that I can fold them if I need to make them smaller, depending on where we put the pieces. All right. Those are all trimmed up. Let me get rid of my scraps here. Nice and colorful. Terry says she's starting to do that at home. She's starting to hang her projects instead of storing them. Yeah, absolutely, Terry. I think that's great. I think everybody should try to do that. I've shown you guys before my little clips that I bought. They're like little clothespin clips. They're like little bitty clothespins. They're clear clothespins, and they've got the command strips on the back. They're working great for hanging my little stuff around my room here. I mean, obviously they're not super strong, so you don't want to hang probably full. They probably wouldn't hold a full-size quilt unless you used a lot of them. But they work really well for the small blocks and the small pieces. So that's something to look forward to. All right, so here's our first one. So I'm going to find our little opening here. I'm going to reach my hand in. Terry says she bought those clips. Oh, that's great, Terry. That's great. So I'm going to reach my hand into the corner. I'm going to use my thumb, and I'm just going to kind of push the corner through like this and pull it all the way through that little hole. And then I'm going to reach in again, opposite corner, same thing. Use my finger and my thumb, push it through and pull. We're going to get the whole thing flipped over, and then we're going to push out those corners again. And that's why I trimmed the corners up the way I did, because it will make it easier for me to push those corners through. All right. There we go. So basically, you're making like this. Okay. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. You can pull these corners out a couple of different ways. Usually I've been able to just roll them. You just kind of take my finger and just kind of roll them out. Sometimes you might have to take a pin and pull it out with a pin. You can also use your purple thingamajig if you have one of those to pull the corners out as well if you need to. All right. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll these seams. Now the best way to do that is to lay it down on the ground, lay it down here, pull the fabric down just a little bit. Okay. You want to pull the fabric down so that the seam is pushed up. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to feel the seam pushed up. And then I'm going to take my thumbnail and I'm going to press right along the seam and lay it nice and flat. Okay? All the way across as much as I can. And then when I pull it up again, it lays nice and flat for me. So, lay it flat, pull the fabric down, the top layer down. It's a little tricky because they want to stick together. Feel that seam, make sure that it's going up. Use your finger or your thumbnail, or if you have one of those rollers, the rollers work really nice too. And just kind of press out that seam. I wouldn't recommend using your iron just yet. We are going to iron these flat again in just a minute, but right now I'm just kind of finger pressing those seams to get it to lay nice. Okay, and then pull it again. And now it should lay nice and flat. No, Terry, I am not using any batting at all on this one. You can absolutely use batting on these if you'd like to. If you're using these as a traditional placemat, you probably do want to use some batting because it kind of protects your surface. I am using these more as a decorative piece than an actual functional piece. If you are making placemats for your kitchen table or your countertop or things like that, you're probably going to want to have that layer in between as a protective barrier between the fabric and the surface for sure. But again, I'm using these as a decorative piece, so I'm not putting anything in between them to keep them nice and thin. So then that way, if I need to make them smaller to fit the space, I can fold them and it makes it easier for me. That's just what I'm doing. You guys do your own thing. I'm again just using these as a decorative piece. They're not a functional piece. If I was using these as placemats for my kitchen table, I would absolutely use like a piece of felt or fleece or even a piece of thin batting, the 80-20 batting as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of that barrier. But for these are just decorative pieces. I have shown how to make pot holders on the channel before. It's basically the exact same method. We have used that plenty of times before. In fact, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of my pot holder video. So if you guys have not seen that yet, please feel free to head over to our channel, our playlist, and look for that. It's under the miscellaneous projects. But that one will actually show you how to use the batting fabric, the batting to make a pot holder. Just pressing these down. And then it lays nice and flat. All right. Now that seam is laying nice and flat, it makes it a nice, pretty crisp edge there. It doesn't roll to one side or the other, which makes things nice. And now that I've laid it out hand pressing, I'm going to actually hard press it with the iron before we sew it all up together. Yes, Terry, absolutely. Terry says that'll make it the counter or the table nice and pretty. You can use it under a cake display to give it some color or some cookies. She says she loves those too. Oh, absolutely. For this particular application, we're going to be putting these underneath. We're going to be putting these on an end table between 2 chairs. And usually we decorate that end table with either some nice pretty candy dishes or some pretty flowers or a little statue or things like that. That's what we're going to be using for this particular project. But these are a great way to add, like you said, that extra pop of color to any place that you're working with, whether it be your kitchen counter, your kitchen table, an end table in your living room, hanging on a wall in any of your sewing spaces, underneath, you know, if you guys have a a table that you put your keys, a bowl with your keys on it is a great place to put those things. So this is a quick and easy way to add a little bit of a piece of decor to your home that's not only handmade, something that you've made yourself and picked out yourself, but it also kind of gives you, it also helps you with a little bit of a sense of accomplishment as well, because you're going to complete a project pretty quickly. So, all right, so now I'm going to use my iron, and I'm actually going to lay these nice and flat with my iron. I've already hand press them down, finger press them down. So they're laying pretty flat, but now I really want to hit them hard with this iron because we're going to be sewing up the edges to seal everything in. Now I still have this opening here on the edge, so I'm just going to lay that down. We're going to sew that up together in just a few minutes. I'll show you how to do that. But since I finger pressed those edges, they lay nice and flat. Nothing is rolling. It's going to be a nice, even lay. I hate it when I do these and I don't finger press those edges and like one side rolls just a little bit more than the other. Especially when you're having two different pieces of fabric, one on either side like this, and they're not the same. Because then you can actually see that transition, and I don't like to see that if I can get away with it. I much prefer it have a nice flat edge to it to kind of conceal that other side. All right. Congratulations, Nancy, on winning the slot. That looked like it was fun. All right, so now I have officially ironed these all up so they lay nice and flat on me. So now the next thing we have to do is we have to close up that edge that we used to pull it through and make ourselves a nice decorative stitch all the way around. This is super easy to do. You can do it a lot of different ways. You know, your machines, a lot of our machines have really pretty decorative stitches that we can use. I have a bunch of them on this machine, but I don't know where my little thing is to pick them. So I'm just going to use a straight stitch this time. But this would be a great way for you to use all those decorative stitches that are on your machine. Just sew up that little edge with a nice pretty decorative stitch. I'm just going to use a little 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch stitch here. Just a quick straight stitch all the way around. This is also why I try and give myself a little bit of extra salvage on these so that when I do this particular stitch, it actually grabs through all of the layers a little bit better and lays a little bit nicer. If I only used 1/4 of a seam inch allowance on these, trying to do this little 1/8 inch decorative piece all the way around can be really tricky because you're only working with a very small salvage edge. So this way, if I give myself the 1/2 inch, I know that everything's going to lay nice and flat and it's going to look a little bit nicer. So that's why I do it. Push that through. It gets stuck on the corners there. There we go. All right. Let's sew this all the way around. Real quick and easy. Looks like people are winning that. Oh, looks like there's a heist going, so if you haven't already gotten in on that. Oh my God, I'm telling you, words. They're hard today. They're really hard today. But if you haven't gotten in on that heist, go ahead and get joined in on that. See what we got here. Flip that over. This is definitely a great place to use those decorative stitches on your machines that you just never use for anything. You know, the leaves and the hearts and, you know, all that stuff. This is a great place to use that. just finishing up this last edge. Okay, there we go. And now we have our very first placemat. This is a dark blue on this side, and then a nice dark purple on this side. Just gives it some different colors. The patterns are pretty similar. This one has some silver accents to it. You guys can't really see it on the camera, but it's got some silver accents to it. And this one's got some more white accents to it. So that's why I've chosen those two. And so now you can see that if I need to make the piece smaller or larger, I can fold it nice, and it's still not super bulky, and it folds up really nice if I need to make it smaller or larger if I need it. All right, first one is officially done. Now on to the next three. Nancy says she's trying to catch up to Lucas. My goodness, Nancy, you got quite a few thimbles there. Look at you. Wow. Congratulations on those. Thank you, Nancy, for reminding everybody to give a thumbs up to the video. Yes, if you haven't already, please consider doing so. Make sure you go tickle that like button because it really likes it. Marie says he's been trying. He's been hard to catch up with, but I'm trying. Alrighty. Looks like Marie won that heist. Congratulations, Marie, on winning that heist. Congrats. Alright, I'm just pulling through these corners again. Okay, last one. But we're just going to do this exact same method that we just did on the first one. So first is pulling all the corners through that little hole that we made. Now the good news is these are pretty big pieces, so I was able to make that hole pretty big. When you're working with smaller pieces like the pot holders and things like that, this little opening is much smaller. It's much smaller to work with. So it does take a little bit of some finessing to get it out sometimes. Let's see if I can roll these. Sometimes I can roll the corners out. Sometimes I gotta get a little creative. But it looks like this one's gonna roll out for me. So that's good. This one may not though. This one I might have to poke out. Some people have used the edge of their scissors to poke out the corners. It's not how I roll because my luck I'll put those scissors right through the corner. That's how I would do things, you know. But I use my purple thing. You guys just saw me pull it out a little bit ago because I was having some struggles. I've used that, and I've also used a pin as well if I needed to. Just be careful with the pin. Be careful not to pull the fabric out or the stitching out when you do that, because sometimes that can happen. Some people have stilettos that they use as well. Those also work really, really well. Let's see, where did that hole go? I think it's over here. Yeah, there it is. I'm just going to reach in there with my purple thing and push out that seam. There we go. There we go. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and finger press these. Again, we take the top layer and pull it down. We want to make sure that our seam allowance is going up. So we might have to roll it just a pinch to make sure it stays that way. And then I finger press it nice and hard. There we go. Perfect. There we go. And then when I pull it back, it lays nice and flat for me. Pull it down. Get that seam laying up. Sometimes it's a little tricky. This one's being a little bit of a pain. There we go. Can feel it with my fingers. That nice and hard. And then lay it flat. There we go. Marie says the slots are finally paying better, or paying better. That's good. I'm glad to hear that they're paying out a little bit better. Somebody must have hugged the bot. All right. Last one. Roll it up. My finger. There we go. Pull that so nice and flat. All right, hit it with the hot iron. Really get it to lay nice and flat for me. Makes it easier to sew up that way. Go. Last corner. Okay, now I'm just going to run this one underneath the machine as well. About 1/8 of an inch. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because no one's really going to be looking at it. I usually try to start somewhere in the center, or in the middle. It makes it easier for me to line up the edges later on. Drop the needle down. Do a couple of stitches forward, a couple of stitches back to anchor it. And then away we go. Flip. The seam on this one is not laying as flat as I would like it to be. The green is kind of rolling over onto the blue a little bit, which basically just means that when I finger pressed them, I didn't do a very good job of it. So it's not my favorite, but it's okay. The only person that's really going to notice that is me. So, you know, it's time to let go of the perfections and just get it done. You know, done is better than perfect. go. Pull back. Okay, there is number 2. Here we go. It's a light green on this side. And then a nice pretty blue and green on this side. Nancy says, well, the slots turned against me. You can't trust them. I'm telling you, you just can't trust them. Too funny. Terry says, I love the greens. Well, thank you, Terry. I am a green person myself. You guys know my favorite colors. Lime green, obviously, from the color of the room. Purple, orange. Those are my favorites. Marie says, hug the bot, Terry. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps. Let's see if I can find the corner there. There we go. Poke that one through. Grab this one here over here. Poke that one through as well. All right. Perfect. Roll the edges here. Let's see. There we go. I can roll this corner very well. Lucas says he's returning the crossbars back, so be careful with the slots. That means you're more likely to lose. The odds are different. You could still lose without the crossbars there, but the odds were better in your favor, more in your favor. Lucas, what are you up to right now? You studying, doing some homework? What you doing over there, kid? I mean, he's not a kid, but I call him that. I call him a lot of things. What are you up to over there, buddy? Lucas has 2 interns that he's been working on for part of his classes for school. So he's been really, really busy. Procrastinating homework, he says. I mean, at least he's honest about it. I understand that. I remember those days. I remember those days. All right. Rolling those edges up, finger pressing them, giving them a nice hard finger press so that they lay flat for me. And then I give them a nice hard press with the iron once I'm done. Yes, Terry, I did the same. I took college night classes and then worked full-time during the day. I actually worked 2 jobs through college. I worked one during the day, and then I worked one in the evenings on the days that I didn't have school, and the weekends. That is how I paid for my college education. Everyone pays for it differently. Nowadays, unfortunately, kids have got to take out loans that they end up having to pay for forever. that is how I took care of my college education. I did not go away to a four-year college. I did community college. One of the community college that I went to actually worked with one of the other universities in the area. They shared programs, so you were able to attend the classes at a community college, but actually earn your degree from the accredited university, which was kind of cool. So you saved quite a bit of money because you were paying for the community college fees while still getting the university degree. You did have to take a handful of university classes at the actual university in order to get the degree, but it was a lot less than taking all of your classes there. You could get all your gen eds out of the way at the community college. Much, much cheaper. Yes, Lucas says it's going to take his entire life to pay off his student loans. All right. Looks like I didn't do a very good job with ironing up this one piece here, but that's all right. It will have to do. It's going to lay over a little bit, but that's all right. I'm not going to upset myself about it. Just going to let it go. As they say on Frozen, just let it go. Keri, that would be fantastic, although I can't imagine that that actually happens in real life anymore. But that would be nice, wouldn't it? The company I work for actually offers a tuition reimbursement program that I took advantage of when I was in school. They give you a certain percentage of they give you a certain dollar amount every year to go to school to further your education. It doesn't cover everything, but it does cover, depending on the school you go to and the classes you take, it can cover usually about half. Of course, they, in order to do that, they make you sign a contract that you're guaranteeing them 2 years of employment for every 1 year that they pay for, that they help you pay for. And you have to obviously keep a certain GPA and things like that. But it's a nice program, and I think it's great that some employers offer that as an incentive for employees. The problem with that, though, unfortunately, is that a lot of times these companies require the employees to have a degree before they even start working there. So, while it's great that they want their employees to further their education, it kind of defeats the purpose of it if they have to have an education before they can start working there. So I think it's wonderful that especially depending upon the field that you go into, I think it's essential that some students get a college education for some places, but I don't believe that should be a requirement for every position ever. I think that education itself is important for sure, and I think that everyone should be continuing their education as much as they can. But with the cost of it, it can be very difficult for some people. And I think that's another thing that needs to change. I think the cost of our education needs to change. Even public education is just disgustingly expensive for some places. And I think that needs to be better mandated as well. But those are just my opinions. And let's, keep the politics out of it, please. But those are just my opinions with regards to education, not politics in general. We try to keep away from the politics on this channel as much as we possibly can. Everyone is entitled to an opinion, and we respect everyone's opinions. We just try not to force our own on anyone else. Terry says, continue your education in the field you choose to work in. Absolutely. Absolutely, Terry. Yeah, 100%. You know, education is essential for some positions that you're in. I mean, you have to have a general education for some things, but I don't think that it should be a requirement for everything. I mean, nowadays, most employers won't even consider you for a position unless you have a college degree. And again, I think that's dependent upon the position that you're offering. But if you're looking for someone to run a reception desk or answer cold calls or customer calls, they shouldn't need a college education to do that. They should be able to be trained on the job for that. That's just my opinion. Kathy says she's got to take off. No problem, Kathy. We appreciate you joining us today. It was so great to see you. If you're are you gonna be live today? If you are, we'll make sure to send some people over your way later. All right, guys. Last one. And pull this one through. This one is probably one of my favorites, I think. And I'm not usually a pink person. Pink is not really my color. But this one is probably one of my favorites so far. No live today. No live until tomorrow, Danny. Okay, no problem, Kathy. For those of you who are not already following Kathy's channel, make sure you do !Kathy in chat. Go head over there. Her and Sandra and Diane, and she's always got some other special guests on her show. She does live streams on her channel. It's always it's like a quilting retreat every time you go over there. It's so much fun. I wish I could catch more of them than I'm able to do. She has been kind enough to let me join her a few times on a couple of my days off, which has been a lot of fun. That's actually where this butterfly came from, was one of her live streams. So lots of fun there. Terry says she's not a pink person either. Now, Terry, I am not a pink person. I mean, there's applications for it. I mean, obviously, and I think, but I do like this one. I do like this particular one because I think it's very cheery. I like the little flower print on it, and I really like this pink and orange batik that's on the back here. I really like that. I need to roll this corner. Get my corner out there. Gladys says she has her own channel now. Well, Gladys, thank you for letting us know. Lucas, if you wouldn't mind setting up a link for Gladys's channel, we'll go ahead and make sure that we get that set up for you, Gladys. Congratulations on starting your own channel. I apologize that I have not gone over to check it out. Tell us a little bit more about it. What do you do over there? I'm assuming it's a quilting channel based on the name of your based on your name there, it's a quilting channel, but what are you working on? You got a big project, small projects, tips and tricks? What you got over there? You do any live streams yet? We would love to hear more about it. I'm always trying to support as many creators as I can. We got to help each other out, you know, as much as we can. Lucas will get that link set up for us as soon as he can. If not, I can get to it later. For those of you, until the link is set up, if you want to, if you're on a computer, you can actually just right-click right on Gladys's name, and there should be a button there that says go to channel. So you can just hop over there onto her channel, give her a subscribe real quick, and then hop back until we get that link set up. She says she's been quilting, working on UFOs. Oh, honey, I got a whole drawer of UFOs we got to get to going to. Most of them are stuff that the tops have been done on. It's usually, most of it are table runners. But tops have been done. We just need to sandwich them and get them quilted and bound. So that is definitely on the docket of things we need to be working on for sure. So I feel you there. I feel you there. That is for sure. All right, let's get this folded down here. Oh, you can't do that unless you're a mod. Oh, okay. I thought it was an option for everybody. My bad. That could be why it works for me, because I'm not on my own channel, so. Lucas will get it taken care of for us, I'm sure, when he gets a second. Alright, I've went ahead and finger pressed all the way around the edge. Now I'm just going to give it a nice hard press before we try and sew it. I have found that when I hard press it before I sew it, it just kind of makes it easier for me. That way I can kind of control the seam a little bit better. And for this one, I have black thread in my machines, and that's why I kind of set this one off to the side and decided to do this one later, because I actually want to do this one with some white thread, because I think the white thread will look better than the black. So we're going to flip the thread out on the machine to finish this one up. Terry says, I can put it and Lucas can change it to a link. Lucas, sorry about that. It's the Confident Quilter. The Gladys is over there. I think if you just right click on her channel, or right click on her name, it'll bring you to the channel. We'll get it set up somehow. Alright, let me flip this thread over to white, because I want to use white thread for this particular one instead of black. So, where's my... There we go. Give that a little clip. There we go. You can just use Gladys as her link name, Luke. Ooh. Just looking at this, it looks like I'm going to need to do a deep clean on my machine here again soon. I do try and do a little bit of a cleanup every time I switch over to different projects, so just kind of go in there real quick. But I can see some fuzzies in there, so I'm probably going to need to do a bit of a deep clean before we get too deep into other things here. I won't do it right now. There you go, Lucas. Thank you. There you go, everybody. We got that up and going. So make sure you give Gladys a follow if you haven't already. We appreciate her being a part of our community. We want to make sure to support her over on hers. I will give her a follow myself after the live stream later today. There we go. All right. Wait. Thank you, Lucas. You are awesome. All right. Oops. There. 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 This one can go up there. That can go there. Okay. All right. Last one. Let's start in the middle. When I do these, I said I like to start in the middle, but I actually like to start in the middle on the opposite side from my opening. And the reason for that is, and this is just, again, just a personal preference. You guys do whatever is comfortable with you. I like to, when I'm doing the opening here, I like to make sure that that's nice, one nice smooth sew through, so then there's no chunks or anything. So I actually start on the opposite end, so then that way I just kind of go all the way through when I pull it out. And that's just, it's just a personal thing. It really makes no difference, honestly. But since I like to start in the middle, I can't really do that with the opening over there. So I like to do it this way. Some people like to start right at the opening and sew the opening up first. That's completely up to you. And if you are working with batting and other stuff in thicker layers, sometimes it is easier to get that opening closed up right away. For this particular situation, I'm not going to worry about it. Everything is laying nice and flat anyway, because there's no real bulk, so I'm not worried about it. Uh-oh. Marie lost on the slots. Marie, I am sorry that you lost on the slots. They have been very mean today. It seems like everybody is losing. I think Nancy gave up. I haven't seen her play in a little bit. I think she gave up. That or she left. She got so angry she left. I'm not sure. Not sure. Good morning, Lorraine. I haven't seen you all morning. I'm assuming that you were probably just lurking and just decided to play now. Or maybe you did play and I just hadn't noticed you, so I apologize for that. But good morning. It's so good to see you. Oh, Gladys says she also maintains her brother-in-law's website. Oh, that's impressive. What does your brother-in-law do? Oh, no problem, Naomi. Good luck on the client project. Thanks for stopping in. Can't wait to see it. As a reminder, that for those of you who are interested, we do have a Facebook and an Instagram account. On Facebook, it's called Danny and the Experts, and on Instagram, it's Danny, So Not an Expert YT for YouTube. We have links. If you do ! links in chat, I'll give you links to both of those. I'd love to see what you guys are working on. We love to share our projects over there. So please feel free to head over there and share your projects with us. All right, guys, this one is finally done. I think this one's probably my favorite. I love this pink. I'm not a pink fan, but I love this pink fabric here. You guys can't see it. The colors are kind of off a little bit on the camera, but it's like a pink, a dark pink, a light pink, and an orange. And it's got these really big flowers on it. It's really, really pretty. Maybe I'll try and snap a couple of pictures of it for you guys just to throw up on Facebook for you to see. But I absolutely love this one. This one is probably my favorite out of the 4 that we have made so far. Well, I shouldn't say so far. The 4 that we have made. That one and then this one. And I just love the pattern on this one. So pretty. And then here's the other side. Awesome. And then here's the 3rd one that we picked out. The green. Again, the colors are just terrible on my camera, but you guys can get kind of an idea. And then last but not least is the fourth one here. And this one I just picked it because I like these two fabrics really well. This one's a dark purple and then a blue. So like I said, I'm bringing these into my office at work. And we're going to be using these as a deco pieces to kind of give a little bit of a pop of color to our office space. If you guys were using these as actual placemats in your kitchen, I would probably recommend using some batting or some felt in between the layers just to kind of give it a little bit of a protective barrier. You can also use the Insulbright if you wanted to as well. I point up here because I have a whole bunch of it up there. You can use some Insulbright if you're looking for something that's more of a pot holder or a that type of a material to place, you know, dishes, warm dishes or cold dishes on your surface. You can obviously use an Insulbright as well if you prefer. I am just using these as deco pieces, so I did not put anything in between them because I want to be able to fold them pretty flat in case I want to use them for a small space. I want to be able to have that versatility of using them for bigger and smaller spaces. Plus I want them to kind of hang over as well. So if I put them on the edge, I want them to hang over really nicely if I'm going to use them for that. So that's why I did mine the way I did them. You guys do them the way that you prefer to do them. And also keep in mind what type of an application you're using them for, and that will determine how best to make those pieces. Excuse me. Marie, I'm sorry, you keep losing. I'm sorry. Yeah, Lorraine, I'm not sure why you have 0 thimbles. That's really weird. You must have, maybe you lost them in something. I'm not sure, but that's really weird. I noticed that. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for today. I'm sorry that we did not get to work on our mix and match project like I had hoped. It turns out the pieces that we're going to need are just a little bit too big for me to be able to cut here. So after the stream today, I'm going to actually pull out my big mat over onto my kitchen counter, and I'm going to cut those pieces up so that we have them ready to go for the next time we're working on a project. Next week, we're probably going to be working on our cotton cuts project again. I've got clue 9 up here for our Cotton Cuts Piazza Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I am not working on Village Green, unfortunately. If you are working on Village Green and you want to work along with one of our content creators, go check out Sean. He is doing a fantastic job over on his channel. If you do ! Sean, that's S-E-A-N, he is doing a great job over there. So go check him out, and he can help you out with any of those questions that you might have over there. Otherwise, we do have another project that we're going to get started on here in the next couple of weeks. It's an Independence Day patriotic type of project. It was actually from a Liberty box from Fat Quarter Shop a couple years back. I've got all the fabric and all the pieces and the pattern, so we're going to get started on that. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get it done in time by 4th of July, but we're going to sure give it a good go and try it out. I think it's either a wall hanging size or a lap quilt size. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to dig through it and look it up a little bit more. So keep an eye out on the channel for a new project that's coming our way because we're almost done with mix and match. Once we get these pieces done, we're actually going to be able to, once we get those pieces cut, we're actually going to be able to start putting that one together. So mix and match is going to be finished here shortly. And as you guys know, the Tropics project is coming along really well as well. Not next week, but the next time we work on our Tropics project, we're going to be able to start putting those blocks together. So I'm imagining we've only got a couple of sessions left of that one as well. So really exciting stuff coming up on the channel. Keep an eye out. Right now, I'm only doing live streams on Sundays. I have not posted a video in what seems like forever. And that is just because of scheduling conflicts and kind of trying to figure out what projects I'm going to be working on. Plus, I'm trying to enjoy the nice weather as it's coming in. So we'll get back to that stuff. Hopefully before, mid-year. We'll have to wait and see how things go. But we will get to it very shortly. All right, guys, I'm going to take it off here. I have had a fantastic time making these. I can't wait to put them to use, and I will try and snap some pictures in my office once they're laid out so you guys can see exactly what they look like. Thanks again for joining me today. Thanks again to all of our subscribers, all of our likes and subs. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you guys again next week. All right, guys, you have a good one, and I will see you all again really, really soon. Bye-bye.
Into my soul, wipe away your sorrow. Go now, it's sunny. Go, let's hurry. Come on, honey. Go now, let's hurry. Go, it's sunny. Go, let's hurry.
everybody goes wild. Love is all around now. This flow, this flow, now. With you, now. We live this flow, now. With you, now. Meet me by the pier. Let's sail away together, baby, get closer. In your neck, I found a river. The flood around your shoulder, baby, get closer. Now. Now. Live this flow.